Start recording. There we go. And OneNote. All right. Science 9. Let's go to, oh, let's see, is it updated? Naming. There we are. Perfect. All right, table of contents. This unit works a little bit differently from other units that we've done. And that's because some people catch on to it really quickly because this is their jam. Do you know what I mean? Like some people are like, wow, this is like the easiest thing on earth. And other people, it takes longer to catch on. And either of those are perfectly good. You will do this in grade 9. You will do it in grade 10. And if you take chemistry 11, you will do it again in chemistry 11. The only difference is we will spend a couple of weeks doing it. In grade 10, they will quickly review it. And in grade 11, they will simply assume that you know it. Yes? So if you're going through this and you're like, this is really not for me, then when you get to choosing your grade 11 courses, you may think, okay, I don't really want to do chemistry. But if you're like, oh, I enjoy this, this is fun, then you can think about doing chemistry 11, okay? So take note of how you feel about this unit, so you can think about that when next year you go to make your choices for grade 11. This particular one, when you finish a worksheet, so 3.1a, okay, when you finish a worksheet with a bolded quiz. And what the heck does that mean? A worksheet with a bolded quiz, you're going to write the quiz. Let's see what that looks like. So if you go down here, section 4.0 is all reference material. So there is a periodic table in there. If you lose yours, I'm going to give you a new one for this unit that has extra stuff on it that you didn't have in your last periodic table. Okay. There is an alphabetic listing of elements. There's a bunch of other things that we'll get to later. But when we get into section 4.1, can you see that there is a bolded quiz 1? Do you see that? Yeah? That means that when you have finished doing all of worksheet 4.1a, you are ready to write quiz 1. Okay, and you can do that whenever you are ready to write quiz 1. This is going to be self-serve. So I want you to watch with me, because I'm going to walk back and show you where the quizzes are. Okay, here we go. All right, and I'm going to actually move them more to the center. Quizzes 1 to 7 are in here, and then when you get further along, the big purple thing comes out, and that's going to be quiz 8. Okay, if you choose to do the enriched stuff, there's going to be a quiz 9 and 10 and 11 if you want to. Okay, but that's only quiz 8 is required. Okay. There is a quiz 1A. There is a quiz 1B, 1C, and 1D. So if you do quiz 1A and you don't do very well, and you would like to do better, you can go get quiz 1B. If you don't do well on quiz 1A and you want to do better, you can go get quiz 1B. So you are allowed to rewrite it, A, B, C, D, up to 4 different times. Yes. We will have a test at the end of this that covers everything. And there will be review at the end that covers everything. So pardon me? Yeah, like the last unit. Now, I will be teaching a little lesson at the beginning of every class. So when you come in, I will teach a little lesson that shows you how to do, say, the stuff for quiz 1. Today, we're probably going to get through at least the stuff for quiz 1, maybe also for quiz 2. Okay, because quiz 1 is super easy. Okay, in general. People are usually like, quiz 1, not so bad. All right. So we will have the little lesson, and then you can do the practice. And then if you feel ready, you can write the quiz. I will be letting you know, even though it is self-paced and you can work ahead, there is a certain quiz you need to be done up to by every given day. And I'll post those on Teams, right? So it'll be like, if you haven't finished quiz 3, you're going to need to finish it next class. Okay? That way people don't fall too far behind. Alrighty? So today, everybody will probably be writing quiz 1. There might be some people who are ready to do quiz 2. I don't think we'll probably get to quiz 3 today, but you know, there's always a few people who like zoom ahead and are like, I don't know. I had one kid who like finished everything and did all my grade 11 stuff as well. So, okay. So that's how this works. Now, take a look at this one. Is that a bolded quiz? No. What that means is that you need to do 4.1D to help get ready for quiz 4, but you're not ready to do quiz 4 yet. To get ready for quiz 4, you need to do 4.1E, and then you'll be ready for it. Yeah? But also, after the bold quiz 4, there's some extra practice. So because quiz 4 is a little bit challenging, if you didn't do well on quiz number 4, before you go and do the re-quiz, you can do some extra practice. Yes? Is that making sense? Okay. And then we work through, there's a whole bunch of stuff to work through, and we get all the way to the end. And then there's mega naming review, mega formulas review, and we'll do that before we write our test. And the test will include everything. Okay? June, are you on your phone? Can you go put it in the cell hotel, please? Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, one last thing I need to mention about the quizzes at the back is that if you want quiz 1A, you don't go in front of the thing that says 1A. You open up 1A and you go behind it, and that's where you'll find quiz 1A. If you want quiz 1B, you need to go behind where it says 1B. If you go in front of it, you'll get quiz 1A. Do you go in front or behind the label? Behind. Everybody. You go in front or behind the label. Go behind the label to get the quiz. Okay? When you get to quiz number 2, should you be doing quiz 1B? No. What quiz should you be doing? Quiz number 2A. Okay, don't worry if you do the wrong quiz, I'll let you know and you can redo it. The quizzes are short. They are all 6 questions each. Okay, until we get to the very, unless you do some of the enriched stuff. Okay, don't take it yet. You haven't learned how to do it. Okay. I do notice that there are people who don't do very well, and they are people who decide to write the quiz before they've done any practice. Yes? So make sure you have done enough practice to feel confident. Okay? So before you write the quiz, what do you need to do? Practice. You don't have to do every single question. Sometimes you'll be like, you know what? I've done 10 of them and I get it because it's really easy. And that's okay. You can do that. But if you don't do enough practice, you'll just have to retake the quiz again. You won't have learned it. Okay. So today we are going to start with a few ideas. And in fact, I just have to print one thing really quickly because I didn't get a chance to do it this morning. And that is going to be, here we go. Here we go. Where is it? Names fall 2024. Ionic and covalent. Full worksheet. There we go. Yes. How long is this? Not too long. About 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Print. 338. Print on both sides. Copies 30. 30. Print. Okay. All right, and now we can go to page 8. Page 8. All right. So quiz number 1 is about naming binary ionic compounds. Now, what the heck is this binary thing? What number do you think bi represents? 2. So we're going to have 2 elements. And these are ionic compounds. Okay, and we didn't do unit 3, so we didn't talk a lot about ionic compounds. We will go through and watch a little Tyler DeWitt video on them so you can get an idea of what they're like. Okay, but you will not be responsible for knowing how the bond forms. What you do need to know about an ionic compound is that it is made of ions. Shocking, I know. An ionic compound is made of ions. What are the 2 types of ions? Nonmetal and metal. What do we call them? There's the cations. Whoops. Yep, there's a positive ion, and that's the cation. There is the negative ion, and that is the anion. The cation, what types of elements are cations? What types of elements lose electrons? Metals. So the cation is going to be a metal ion. And the anion is going to be then a non-metal. The cation, the metal, always goes first. Okay, so when you're writing a name, you're going to name the metal first. So it goes first in the name, first in the formula. I'm just going to keep first there. And the anion always comes second. So the non-metal always comes second. That's okay. Don't worry. We're going to get to an example. Okay? We're just going to write that down so you have it for reference. So here we have a picture of an ionic compound. We have sodium ions. Those are the purple ones. They're the small ones. And we have chloride ions. And I want to ask you, which one sounds correct to you? Chloride, sodium, or sodium chloride? Yeah, sodium chloride sounds correct. And that's because we have the metal first and the non-metal comes second. So when you're naming it, name the metal first, name the non-metal second. Do you remember where the metals and non-metals are on the periodic table? Yes? Anyone want a review of that? Quick refresher. Ooh, for this unit, you do not need to worry about metalloids, okay? Don't worry about metalloids. What you're going to do for this unit is you are simply going to say, if I have my staircase, and maybe I actually should give you your new periodic table today because it has the staircase on it, okay? But feel free, you can draw your staircase on your own periodic table. Everything to the right is a non-metal, and we're just going to pretend that metalloids are non-metals if they're on the right. And everything to the left is a metal, except for hydrogen, which is a non-metal. Alrighty? So you can just ignore the metalloids for this unit. Let's go back to here. There we go. You don't need to worry about this word, but if you're interested, this structure that it forms is called a crystal lattice, and it alternates negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. Why do they alternate like that? Opposite charges attract. And since metals are positive ions, non-metals are negative ions, then the metal positive will bond with the non-metal negative. And is that attractive force between positive and negative that hold them together? That is called an ionic bond. Okay, so if we have a positive ion and it is attracted to a negative ion, whoops, that's not supposed to say E, a negative ion, that is called an ionic bond. Yes. No, not really. I tend to show my bonds like that because it's like, ooh, here's a little force field kind of thing. Yeah. So how the heck does this thing form? This is what we would have done in Unit 3. So you're not really responsible for this, but it's good to kind of know where it comes from anyway. Here we have a sodium atom, an Na atom. What is the charge of that Na atom? It's an atom. 0. It's neutral. Atoms are neutral. Here we have a chlorine atom. And if it's an atom, what is its charge? Neutral. These pictures are showing only. Oh, all right. You guys know where to go? Okay, meet me out there. Okay. No, not right now. Okay, we'll finish the lesson, then you can go. All right. When last we left, remember we are on page 8. Okay, on page 8. All right, let's focus in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When lastly left, we were looking at a sodium atom, which is neutral, and a chlorine atom, which is neutral. So this is sodium, and this is chlorine. All right, and we have only shown the valence electrons here, the outer shell electrons. How many valence electrons does anything in group 1 have? Group 1 has 1 valence electrons. Sodium is in group 1, so it has this 1 valence electron. What would it like to do with that electron to become stable? Sorry, yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I miss anybody else with the new periodic table? Yeah. Okay, I missed the whole row there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Go. So this periodic table. So that 1 electron, what does sodium want to do with it? Wants to get rid of it. Now chlorine does not have 1 valence electron. It is in group 17. How many valence electrons does it have? 7 valence electrons. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have an empty spot here. So chlorine wants to do what? Gain an electron. So this little electron from sodium is going to come on over here and slot in to that spot, empty spot in chlorine. This sodium has now lost 1 electron. So it is no longer a sodium atom. It is now a Na plus ion. What's the name of an Na plus ion? This was one of your test questions, yeah? Na plus is named. What do we do with the names of positive ions? We do nothing. It stays. It is a sodium ion. Okay, positive ions do not change their names. Okay, positive ions do not change their names. So when you're doing the first element, when you're naming the first element, that's going to just keep its name the same. If it's sodium, it's sodium. If it's aluminum, it's aluminum. If it's magnesium, it's just magnesium. Okay, copper is just copper. But chlorine, on the other hand, has gained this electron. What has the charge of chlorine become? It's become -1, so we have Cl minus, and the name of that ion is called a chloride ion. The nonmetal, the second name, the ending changes to ide. Negative ion, the nonmetal, ends in ide. So if you're looking for the name of Cl minus, that's called chloride. If you're looking for Cl neutral, that's called chlorine. Okay, so back here we had chlorine because it was neutral. Over here we have chloride. And then this sodium has a positive charge. This chloride has a negative charge. What do positive and negative do? They attract, so we have that attractive force between them. They attract, and that attraction is called what kind of a bond? Ionic bond. So anytime you have a metal and a non-metal, you are going to have an ionic bond between them, and it's going to be called an ionic compound, and it will be made from a positive ion first and a negative ion second. The name is just, the first name stays the same, the second name changes to ide. Okay? So the cation's name doesn't change. The cation comes first. Sodium stays sodium. Calcium stays calcium. But the anion, which is the negative, which comes second, its name changes to ide. Chlorine becomes chloride. Fluorine becomes fluoride. And I want you to watch out. I'm going to get picky with the spelling because you have a periodic table in front of you. So you can actually go and look and say, what is the spelling for fluorine? And you can zoom in close. It should focus in a second. And it is UO, not OU. So I'm going to take off a half a mark if you spell it OU. Because if you write it OU, it becomes fluoride instead of fluoride. Yeah, because flour is spelled FLOUR. But I'll give you lots of practice on that, so you'll get a chance to get it correct. Okay? Now, there's a few anions that can be confusing. For example, and maybe some of these sound right to you and maybe some of them don't. Do you think oxygen, which is a nonmetal, is going to become O2 minus, so it's going to come second. Is it oxygen or oxide? Oxide. Oxygen, hopefully it sounds wrong. If it doesn't yet, don't worry. By the end of this unit, oxygen will sound funny. And you'll be like, ooh, oxygen, ew, that's not right. Okay? Does nitrogen become nitrogide or nitride? Nitride. Does phosphorus become phosphoride or phosphide? Phosphide. Does hydrogen become hydrogide or hydride? Hydride. Before you flip the page, how many syllables? I know you did it in elementary school. Do the clapping thing. If we say oxide, how many claps? Oxide. So you take the first syllable, which is the ox, take the first syllable and add ide. Drop the whole rest of the word. Okay? How about nitride? How many syllables? Nitride. 2 syllables. So you are always going to take the first syllable. In this case, you're going to have ox, nitra, whoops, nitra, phos, hydra. You don't want the nitro, phospho, hydro, oxy. You don't want those 2 syllables. You just want the first syllable. Use the first syllable and add ide. And don't worry, every quiz is going to have one of these on it, so you will practice it. So if you get it wrong on the first quiz, 1A, then you could try quiz 1B and get it correct. Okay? So just the first syllable, then add ide. All right. In fact, there are only 2 monatomic anions that have 3 syllables, silicide and selenide, and we are not going to do them this year. We'll leave those for grade 11. Okay, so you're only ever going to have 2 syllable ones. There are exercises to do here. Once you do the exercises, that's the first thing you do. The second thing you do is you check your answers. And the third thing you do is if you got something wrong and you don't know why, ask any questions. If you're like, I don't know why I got this wrong, ask the questions. And then the fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to write quiz 1A. For these quizzes, you can have your periodic table. I'm not going to make you put up dividers. Could you cheat? Yes. How much are quizzes worth? Like that much. If you cheat, how much will you learn? That much. How much are tests worth compared to quizzes? That much. Will there be dividers during a test? Yes. Will you be able to cheat during a test? No. So if you learn this much because you cheated, then your test mark will be way down there. So don't cheat. Every year, I have someone who does it anyway. And they're like, 6 out of 6 on the quiz, 6 out of 6, 6 out of 6, 6 out of 6. They do the test, 4 out of 30. I'm not kidding. I am absolutely not kidding. I am serious. If you cheat, that's how well you're going to do because you won't have learned anything, right? If it would be like if you were like, okay, I'm going to learn how to swim. Oh, my friend is swimming. I can see them swimming. Okay. And I'm going to be okay. But you never actually go in the water yourself and practice. Now you're going to go swimming and they drop you in the deep end. Are you going to swim or are you going to drown if you've never swum before? Like if you're lucky, you'll be able to like dog paddle your way through. But if you've never swum yourself, you're going to have a hard time. Yes? I don't want anybody drowning. I want everybody to learn how to swim. Okay? And I will support you through all of that. So, remember, every time you see a capital letter, that's your new element. So Li, you're going to go find who Li is. And then you're going to find out who H is, and you're going to write the name. Give it a try. I'll come around and help you out. When you feel you're ready to do the quiz, you can help yourself to quiz 1A. Okay, and if you don't finish that today, that's okay. You can do quiz 1A at the very beginning of next class. Okay, after we do our little lesson. Ooh, the numbers. That's a really good question. What does this little number mean? If we have a number, what that means is that there is a barium. It's got a 2+ charge, and it's going to be attached to a chloride with a -1 and another chloride with a -1, but it doesn't make any difference to the name for ionic compounds. So you can just, for ionic compounds, you can ignore the little numbers. Okay, just ignore the little numbers. Tomorrow we'll learn what to do with them when we have covalent compounds, the other type of compound. Just add iron to the first. There you go. I'm so sorry. No, that's 4A. It's in the wrong slot. It's the first one you just named. The second one, H. Hydrogen. You take the first of the word I. Side to the end of the sentence. Yes. Okay, you're going to ignore the little numbers for now. What it means is that a barium 2+ actually has 2. It's not that they're squared, it means there's 2 chlorines. Yeah. But it's not really different from that in that
Okay, folks, your homework is to be ready to write the quiz next day, or if you've already written it today, I'll have it marked for you for next day. But also, page 13. Can you go sit down for a second? Page 13, there is a chart. You are going to start memorizing it. Page 13. So if I say one, you say mono. If I say two, you say die. If I say three, you say try. A lot of them make sense, like a tricycle. Yeah. If I say four, you say tetra. Could I give you a quiz on the first four tomorrow? Just the first four? Mono, di, tri, tetra? Quiz tomorrow. Finish page. What the heck page was that? Thank you very much. All right, lovelies. Have a good day.